I'm delighted to be here this evening. It is truly a special privilege for me to be with you, students, from around the world this evening. As I look at you, I see me in you. I see the future of the world. You are the hope of tomorrow. You are the promise, potential, and possibilities of the world. I have been asked to speak with you about my experience as an immigrant who came to the United States of America and became a successful entrepreneur, to provide some advice based upon what I have learned, and to share my thoughts on the future of international educations. I will. I am an immigrant. This nation is what President Kennedy called a nation of immigrants. People came here from every end of the earth. The immigrants have brought and continue to bring a broad-based benefits to America in terms of job and economy. They are the leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, creators, scientists, and engineers. As President Kennedy said in 1950, and I quoted that when I gave a speech at JFK Library last year on the occasions of Immigration and Naturalization Ceremony, that immigrants infuse this nation with far horizons and new frontier, thereby keeping the hope alive and well. So let me begin, however, with the following lines from a popular American song that some of you may be familiar with. What the world needs now is a love, sweet love. That's the only thing that is just too little of. Those are the opening lines from a best-selling song written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David in 1965. Sadly, these lyrics are truer today when they were written over half a century ago. I will come back to these lines later on in my presentation. So let me turn first to my journey. I came to the United States from India at the age of 15 to pursue the American dream. At that young age, I was not quite sure how I would achieve that dream. But I knew even then that being a business owner would be part of it. I also knew that it meant being apart from my family and developing my own career track with a little parental and professional guidance. But it was also an opportunity. That's the way I saw it, an opportunity to define myself in America, the land of opportunity. The process of defining myself here in America had 5 stages: getting a good education, doing my apprenticeship, becoming an entrepreneur, building a strong team that shared my vision and values, moving on to other things. I got my bachelor's and master's degree in computer science at the University of Colorado in Boulder. That gave me the knowledge that I needed to go into business. When I graduated with my advanced degree, I was not prepared to go directly to owning a business. That is because I did not know how business operated. I had no real exposure to business prior to starting college. I knew I needed experience before launching my own venture. So I worked with 2 major information technology companies in the Washington, D.C. area for about a decade to learn the ropes and the ins and outs of doing business with the government. That gave me the skills and the real-world grounding that I needed to start my own business. As a cliche, after doing my apprenticeship in 1994, I purchased a company for $45,000, an information technology company. Within 13 years, along with my key management team, we took that firm from a workforce of 1 employee, that's me, to more than 3,000 employees to approximately $300 million in revenue. My team of talented senior managers were central to everything. Success in business is a team sport. So it is we, not me, who made it happen. In 2007, I sold my company to Ross Perot. As you all know, he ran for the election, and President Clinton won, and George H.W. Bush was defeated. And if you talk to Ross Perot, he said because of him, President Clinton became a president. So I don't think that's the case, because President Clinton is a gifted politician. He's the most gifted politician I ever met in my life. So is his wife, Hillary Clinton, who was not successful last time in the election. She is the most talented woman that I ever met in my life. Governor Blanchard worked for President Clinton, so is his wife, Janet. They can say that they are the talented couple in the world. So the sale that allowed me to establish a private foundation along with my wife, Debbie, and to begin to engage in philanthropy. Our foundation supports educational, cultural, and artistic causes in the United States and around the world. I firmly believe what President Kennedy once said, "To whom much is given, much is expected." That is why I'm focusing today on sharing and giving back. In many ways, the process of sharing and giving back is as and even more rewarding than any of the money that I earned throughout my business career. That's my journey, my story in a nutshell. My journey was not a straight line. It was not always easy. There were twists and turns. There were dark and desperate days. There were many sleepless nights. And the final destination was not certain. We didn't have enough money in the bank to buy the company, so my wife Debbie, who's here, and I had to refinance our home to get the $45,000 for the purchase of the company. What enabled me to prevail on my journey was a belief in myself and those around me, and the opportunity presented by the American dream. Success taught me to move forward. As importantly, failure taught me to never go backward. From the time I started my business, I knew implicitly that you needed to move ahead, and that if you did not, you'd be left behind. Let me say this, my story can only happen in America. I am the beneficiary of America's kindness and generosity. It is America's inclusiveness and openness that provided me the ladders of opportunity to succeed. These are the strengths and the values and qualities of America that all of us can proudly and truly embrace. So let me shift from my journey to what I learned as an entrepreneur and the advice that I would give because of those learnings. If you notice the invitation to this event this evening, it said I would be speaking on entrepreneurship. It might seem that this is a strange topic to talk to a group of students such as yourself about. But I do not believe that to be true because there are entrepreneurs in all fields. The word entrepreneur is usually used to describe a business person. I'm here today to say that definition is far too limiting. There are entrepreneurs in all lines of work. There are entrepreneurs in education. There are entrepreneurs in healthcare. There are entrepreneurs in government. There are entrepreneurs in academia. There are entrepreneurs in social work. I could go on, but I'm certain that you get the picture. So this is my first piece of advice to all of you students. No matter your chosen profession, be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who sees things not as they are, but as they might be. An entrepreneur is willing to invest in himself and others to move things forward. An entrepreneur is not afraid of risk, but does not take risks unnecessarily. An entrepreneur innovates and changes things to make them better. That is what I was and who I was as an entrepreneur. I learned so much as an entrepreneur. I learned every day, and every day was a learning experience. But there was one overriding theme or lesson that I learned early on that was central to my business and to my success. That is, you need to think small to win big. The famous American movie director and writer Woody Allen said, and I quote, 90% of life is just showing up. And Cynthia agrees with me. I became successful, I believe you can as well, by concentrating on the 10%. That means focusing on paying careful attention to the critical few areas that make a difference for success. For me, in my business, they were developing a distinctive core competence, establishing a laser beam customer focus, creating niche differentiation, ensuring perfection in performance. The core competence in my IT business was combining a blend of engineering, science, and information technology skills in our service package. Our laser beam customer focus was on the organization that needed a blend of high technical skills in their IT work. Our niche differentiation was to concentrate on those organizations and not to try to grow willy-nilly. We ensure perfection in performance by providing all deliverables to our customer on time, under budget, and managing the customer relationship in a manner that exceeded their expectations. So those were my key learning as an entrepreneur. Even though I learned them in business, I believe those 4 areas, core competence, customer focus, niche differentiation, and perfection in performance, apply to all professions and lines of work. I encourage you to think about how you can employ them as a guideline as you go through your studies and move ahead into your careers. Now, here is a little more advice based upon my learning. If you will recall, a little earlier, I said, an entrepreneur innovates and changes things to make them better. So my second piece of advice to innovate. Let me qualify that. Innovate, but do not start from scratch. Borrow and build on the ideas of others. And Chinese does a good job in doing so. A report on innovation states not all innovation is radical or breakthrough. Innovation can also be incremental, yet small, materially significant changes to the current operating model or product or services. Innovation in all fields is based upon being able to discover or see the things that others do not, and making the connection that others have not. Think about your profession, what is not seen or known yet, and what contribution you can make in this regard. I can assure you that if you do, it will pay off big time. So those are my thoughts and advice on entrepreneurship. Let me turn my attention briefly to the future of international education. When I look at those of you in this room, students, I understand from nearly 36 countries, I see that future. That future is being together, not only in the classroom, but outside of it. The future of international students international education must not only be academic and cognitive, it must also be social and emotional. It must be experiential. All of you students staying here in the International Student House has been given a gift in this regard. It is a gift that will keep on giving. The bonds that you are forging in this house today, your time together, is as important, perhaps more so, in some ways, as your time in the classroom are hitting the books. I can say that based upon reflecting back on my days as an undergraduate and graduate student at the University of Colorado in Boulder. The times that I have shared there with other immigrant students, having coffee, sitting around chatting, discussing and debating topics late into the evening, helped shape and make me who I am. I stay in touch with several of those students till this day. I cannot overemphasize the importance of international education, having students from around the globe together in one place during these strife-torn times. Leaders of numerous countries are becoming much more autocratic. Many citizens in those countries are bent on building boundaries, barriers, and walls to keep us apart rather than to bring us together. These leaders are tearing apart the harmonious fabric of their nation. They need to rise above the angry partisanship and come together. We need to be together. And together, we can help shape a better future for America and the world. So Freedom House titled its annual report this year on the status of democracy in nations around the world. Democracy in Crisis. Historian Robert Kagan's new book focusing on America's withdrawal from international leadership and example setting is titled The Jungle Grows Back, America and Our Imperiled World. These are indeed trying and turbulent times. That's why, as I close my remark, I have one final piece of advice for you students and then a request. First advice, I said to each and every one of you, make it your journey. Frank Islam's journey was Frank Islam, Bill Gates' journey was Bill Gates, and Stephen Jobs' journey was Stephen Jobs. On your journey, stay true to you. This has always been one of my personal mantras. Make it your journey, stay true to you, be the best you can be, exploit your fullest potentials, do not be a clone, find your inner entrepreneur, chart your own path, create a mission, vision, and set of values that are unique to your enterprise and area of endeavor. That said, now the request. As a part of your journey, identify something that you can do in the future with those in your field of expertise, in your homeland, or with your fellow housemates from the International Student House to make a world a more unified and a connected place. I'm certain that you have followed the emergence of the Me Too movement to confront and combat sexual harassment and sexual assault in the United States and around the world. What we need is a We Too movement. That is a We Together movement to confront and combat the disintegration and destruction of democracy and freedom worldwide. As I stated in my opening comments, what the world needs now is a love, sweet love. That's the only thing. They just do little of. You students can change that. You are the future. Because of the education you are receiving and the relationship that you're forming here, you will have the power as a citizen of your mother country and as a global citizen to help make the world a kinder, gentler, fairer, just, tolerant, inclusive, and a better place. If you and millions of others do so, we can help shape a better future for the world. The world needs this. It needs you and the love that you can bring it as a part of your journey. So thank you for letting me share this time and few thoughts with you tonight. May God bless and keep you in the palm of His hand as you make your journey. Thank you very much.